That's a good question. He was really good after, the first three batters of the baseball game, as good as he's been all year. His curveballs, he at least was cutting them loose earlier in the game. The velocity was up on them. They were just hanging first inning. He just didn't have the depth to it that he had later in the game. He left a few up, and he paid for it. I think he's just got to continue to work to come out of the bullpen ready to go. Make sure he's got a feel for his curveball, because that's the one pitch seems to take a couple innings before he's got it. But I thought his fastball location was much improved today. It's sixth inning's pretty unfortunate for him, the way that transpired. He gets a couple guys on, and ball bounces in front of Dino and shoots up over his head. Then he gets the soft ground ball that gets underneath of Sardinius' glove. Like, he did enough to get through six today and have a quality outing.
Travis extended his on-base streak today, and he really has impressive numbers leading off the game and leading off the inning. Is there something different that he does when he's that leadoff batter compared to maybe when he's hitting in a different spot?
No. Yeah, we've talked to him a lot about, like, the other at-bats, just treating it like, hey, your job's just to get on base. Even if it, like, the rest of baseball looks at it, hey, man, there's a guy on second base and you got to drive him in. Like, I think he's so good, and when he just works a count, works a pitcher, works for his swing, that line drive to the left side, he does that very well. Sometimes when guys get on base, his vision of it gets a little clouded, and he needs to just stay true to that all the time. So I do think there's a little bit of difference in what he does in the box when there's nobody on base or when he's leading off an inning. I think he just has to keep the mentality, it's my job's just to get on base at all times. If he does that, he's going to be great.
What do you think of the way your pitchers handled that lineup this series? And it's been more impressive than it's
I didn't think it was bad. I think there's, some pitches to Addison Russell, the spin we left up in the zone. That was something we talked about going into this, or off speed we left up in the zone, left a changeup up, left a slider up. That's something coming into the series we said we couldn't do in the middle of the strike zone to him. Jason Hayward, a curveball was kind of left middle in. They're good. Chris Bryant's a tough hitter. You got small windows to throw to. There's some guys have lanes you can pitch through. Some hitters have small little holes. Chris Bryant has small holes. Anthony Rizzo has small holes, and Rizzo stands so close to the plate, he makes it difficult to even find those holes. Honestly, I didn't feel like it was a poorly pitched series. I thought we were in position, if we make a few plays defensively, to kind of keep the runs down altogether. Offensively, we just didn't really muster much. No consistency of at-bats. Weren't really a lot of positions to score. You can chalk it up to a lot of teams have trouble with Lester, Arrieta, and Hendricks this year. But we have to figure out a way to get on base and push some runs across. I thought, the third inning today? We get the triple from Will. Hendricks goes immediately to two changeups. We decel the bat twice to put it in play on a first pitch of an at-bat. We got to fire off our A swing right there if you want to score runs in that situation. That you get that changeup, you swing through it. It's fine, not a problem. It's strike one. You don't put that ball in play like that. Like, if you want to score runs at this level against pitching like that, they're going to try to get you outside your element. Just swing through the pitch, and you live to fight the next pitch. But I think sometimes we put ourselves in a bad position. But overall, you look back at how the pitching was. Solid, not spectacular. Gave us an opportunity to be in most baseball games, but not enough to get over the hump.
When you look at the Cubs, as just an observer, that's darn good ball club. What are your thoughts on that all around the club?
They're good. They're good. They've got instinctual baseball players on the field too. They probably don't get enough credit for that. They find things that are available, pick off plays, bunt plays, the way they choose to run them. Part of that's credit to Joe and his staff, and part of it's credit to the instinctual baseball players they have on the field. They've got a stud in the back of the bullpen now, and they got a nice rotation. Good position players. They're going to be there at the end.
The way they're built, young hitters, a guy like Arrieta, coming from where he did, is that something to remind even your fans, like, this is what can happen, here if things go that way, as far as, AJ Butler's plan?
Yeah, I think so. It's a similar blueprint. Nobody wants to be patient. Nobody wants to wait. Everybody wants a winner this year. The Cubs are in position to finally do that. I think you look back at 2013, I think Anthony Rizzo was the only name that was on that roster at that point in time. The rest of those guys were somewhere in their system or being in the process of being drafted or being traded for, or being acquired. There's different avenues you bring those guys into the system, some from the international market, some from the amateur draft, and some through trades. They did a very good job in stocking that up pretty quick. It's a drastic turnaround from 2013.
Andy, I know it's discouraging getting swept, especially getting swept at home. Is it even more so knowing you beat them 2 out of 3 times earlier this season, and you have the ability to beat this team even though they're the best team in baseball?
I'm more discouraging, less discouraging based on early season results. It doesn't really matter to me. It matters that we play clean, aggressive baseball. We had some opportunities to make some plays today we didn't make. You don't make plays against the best team in baseball. They usually beat you. You have a very small margin for error, and that small margin gets exploited every time you make a mistake. And that's not to play scared or so you don't make a mistake. You just have to play aggressively and make the plays. They force you to do that, and that's I don't know that it's any more disappointing or less disappointing based on what happened earlier in the year.